I'm going to share with you exactly this video. I'm going to show you my top 10 recession-proof hacks for wholesaling real estate this year, and actually how you can be as successful as possible in your wholesaling real estate business. Any recession, any crazy market cycle in wholesaling real estate, I'm going to share with you in this specific video how to crush your wholesaling real estate business, actually how to be successful in every single type of market. If real estate is going to go down in the future, it's going to go up in the future. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows. The truth is, in wholesaling real estate, you can make money when the market goes up. You can make money when the market goes down in wholesaling. That is the point. There's only one part of wholesaling real estate that gets weird, and we're going to share about the 4 phases of wholesaling real estate, because there is a cycle. There's 4 distinct phases pretty much since the 50s. They've gone in cycles pretty much every 10 years. We'll share exactly how to make money in every single cycle. I think we're getting off of one cycle onto a next cycle, but I want people to know it's not predictive. Like, oh, it's like 2000. It's going to be a lot different, and it's going to be very weird. And history, Mark Twain says this, but history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And what we're dealing with right now is a historical thing in real estate right now that's actually rhymes, not 2008, but with another period in the United States. And I want to share about that. But really, also on top of that, I do want to share my 10 recession-proof hacks for wholesaling, which are true, absolute statements you have to follow and know. So if I honestly, this is what I was thinking, Rick always says this, and everyone, oh, Zach, you should write a book. Guys, if I was going to write a book on wholesaling real estate, this would be the book I'd write. And what I do is, for the time I have today, is I want to just make that book into a video. And that's kind of today. So you're going to read my book, the recession-proof wholesaling plan, or whatever it's called. Some snazzy name, on Amazon. You can go buy it there. But that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give you a little book today of I've written for myself and what I've seen, what Rick's done, all these of exactly how to crush it in your wholesaling real estate business. So any market, any recession, it doesn't matter. You're going to get rich. And that is the point today. So before I break it down, y'all already know what to do, guys. Make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe button. Comment below your questions, and I'll help you become the best wholesaler you possibly can. So let's break this all down. Let's get into it. We have what we call the 4 phases of wholesaling. So wholesaling real estate goes through phases of the market, right? And so there's really, I would say, 4 phases that you're going to see in wholesaling real estate. There's probably 10 if you really want to get into it, but there's 4. All right. 3 of them are good. 4 of them are bad. 1 of them is bad, right? There's 4 main phases of wholesaling real estate. Okay. Now, what are these phases? Let me break down what they are. Okay. There is number 1. Actually, let's change this up. There's mainly 4. So let's do it. There's phase 1. There's phase 2. There's phase 3. And then voila, there's phase 4. Now, it's not really as complicated as people make it seem. Don't really overcomplicate this. Okay. Let's break this up into a nice little chart for everybody. And then I can go and post the notes and make everybody feel good. Okay. So really easy charts here. Right? My handwriting's terrible, whatever. Okay. So let's break down what this is, what these phases are, and how we understand it. So phase 1 is just pretty much good. This is when the market just keeps going up. This is a phase we've seen for a very long time right now. Usually with this phase, we see interest rates are very low. Okay. So rates usually are pretty low for mortgage. All right. So real estate goes up. It's easier to get properties, right? Things get good. Now, things usually in phase 2 get a little frothy, right? Real estate gets a little too overvalued. We see this a lot, and they start increasing rates. And so we'll call it okay. It's medium, right? This is when real estate starts trending a little down. And I'm going to put a little down, okay? And this is when things really start trending down a little more because rates are going up. It's a little more expensive. Things get a little weird. So if we start at this point, okay, for a price of real estate, when we go to phase 2, it starts trending down. And it's actually not like that. When you really want to look at it like a chart, let's make it black. You start at this point, the price of real estate, it'll start doing kind of like like this, like nothing crazy, some spikes, some bumps until we hit phase two, where it's just, you know, you see the trend over time. It's got a clear trend of going down. Not crazy, right? It's not like dropping, but you do see a trend going down for that, right? And that is kind of what phase two is really about. They're increasing rates. Things get a little frothy. We want to make sure that inflation doesn't go crazy. And then really, rates usually get really high. That's another part we've seen a lot. And then that's really when things kind of, what we'll call a little bottom out, or kind of bottom and keep falling down. But a lot of it starts bottoming out. And then you got the fourth phase of real estate wholesaling, which is kind of what we call spring. And this is when rates start lowering until it hits a bottom back on rates. And this is usually how a lot of markets. Now, these market cycles aren't specifically on rates, but for phases of wholesaling, if you really want to kind of see trends, this is something you can see for a lot of deals. But, spring, that's when real estate prices start going back up. So it'll start going up here, start trending down, and then it kind of hits that bottom and then goes back up, right? Guys, we live in the United States of America. Our population everywhere is growing. So this is what it looks like in the short term. So in the short-term view, oh my gosh, it crashed and then goes up. Guys, if you look at the long-term view, real estate might go here and then crash. But over time, the trend, real estate is always going to be going up. And so it'll always outpace inflation. So real estate in the long term is always going to be going up, no matter what. Now, it depends on your time horizon, but it's not really a big crash. And during these phases, rates sometimes, and this is for certain phases, rates mean nothing. And it's more about the economic conditions than anything, okay? So what are economic conditions that can affect these phases, really? There's always good. It starts going down a little, then at bottom. Sometimes it goes a lot down, like 2008 just started crashing, but not too crazy. But what are the things that affect these phases in real estate wholesaling that we have to understand, right? What are the big ones? This is pretty easy. But so what are the catalysts for phases to start moving? Pretty simple, right? Number one is going to be war. If there is a war that breaks out, obviously that's going to affect real estate, right? We aren't looking into a war. The United States, and I will say this humbly, we haven't had a legitimate war that will affect real estate since World War II. There's been a lot of other wars, but they haven't really been, I don't know how to say this the right way, but if the homeland's not being attacked, it's usually where it's not draining the economy too much. We're not putting war bonds out there. The 70s was a different thing, but we're not considering that a war to affect real estate, right? That's a different thing. War, rates is a big one. Pretty much just economic. So just the economic factors, people losing jobs, things like that, overinflation, things like that. So, and then really, I would put the next one too, but you could say a lot of it's built through tech too, is another phase that if technology finds a way to make real estate cheaper in the future, maybe that'll have an effect, but we haven't seen that yet. So that's something we haven't seen. Usually, all of these are all proven back to the economy, but if we go to the war, there's a rates or some macroeconomic conditions happen. That's what affects the four phases of real estate. And that's how we understand. So what phase are we currently in that's affecting real estate? It's not war. The economy's okay. It's really just raising rates to save the economy, pretty much what the Fed's trying to do. So now we're kind of understanding what kind of phase we're in right now. We can kind of go back to history and understanding this. What's the closest statistic we have seen to our market right now? Everyone thinks. So I could pop up a chart of real estate prices, USA history. Okay. So we'll go to median home price. And I always love this chart. So this is a chart I always love showing the people. So everybody thinks that we're in a 2008 situation, and it is not. Okay. So let me show you kind of what situation we're potentially looking into. Okay. And this is a pretty simple one. But I want people to be educated and informed. Now, it looks like it's shooting up like crazy. That is true. But let's kind of show what we sort of have right now. So Everyone thinks it's 2008 where everything falls like this and all this. So let's do 1963 to 1980. Okay. Let's kind of show where we're at now. All right. And then we'll put mortgage rates history. And let me get this one really quick too. Let's see here. We got a chart for y'all. Where is it? They're here. Sorry, here's the 30 years. Here we go. All right. So we see here on mortgage rates that with prices, the average price of real estate, that it was kind of shooting up a little and it kind of got to 25,000. Now, don't think of it as the prices now, but it did fall from 25 all the way down to 22. And then prices got way overdone here in the 80s. And let's go from 1977, kind of before Reagan and after Reagan. Let's do 85. Do 1985. All right. And then this is when they started jacking up interest rates. We had a lot of crazy stuff happen, usually the 81, 82. And they started jacking up interest rates. It had a thing where it fell for like a quarter pretty hard. And we've had some quarters where things fell, kind of stood staying. But you see over like years, though, it's always going to be going up. And this was probably, and I will tell you, the 80s is the closest factor of what we're going on right now in our real estate. Because if you look at interest rates have gone up historically. It was up almost 20% in 83 and then started going down. And then real estate still had its thing there. So what you got to understand is now we're jacking up rates. And when rates get jacked up, they always fall out, but economic conditions change. What we have to understand about that is because of how interest rates work and how it does affect the economy, overall, when you jack interest rates up like crazy, which I think we're seeing, it's not going to make real estate go down forever. And so now that we understand the 4 phases of real estate wholesaling, how we make money in every single phase. And this is what I want to show, and then we're going to get into the book lesson type thing. I don't know the right way to call it. But now we know kind of what they do. We're not going to see a crazy dip. Like it's not going down 50% or something crazy, but we got to understand how it works. So there's economic conditions where real estate goes up, and there's real estate prices go down. Now, you can make a lot of money doing both ways. Which way are we trending right now? We see it trending down, but not crazy. Like maybe, I don't know, 5 to 15% at most if it's crazy. And then same thing, 0 to 10% if things get crazy good, right? And so if we're going down, we got to understand when prices go down, maybe even in a recession. If I'm used to locking up a property, let's say for $100K, and now it is worth, let's say, $90,000, and then I sold that property to a cash buyer for $120, and then boom, that's a $20K profit, which is good. All I got to do here is get this thing locked up. Now, if it's worth 90, all I got to do is get it locked up for the same 90. But all I'm literally going to do is just sell it for maybe 110, right? And you still make the same 20K. How do you make the same amount of money? This is pretty simple, but you just lock it up for lower prices and you make the same amount of money. And so that's what you got to understand, that the buyers, they're actually going out here and they want bigger discounts. And then you have to give those discounts from the seller. Then you make the same amount of money. The issue is here's the big issue. And this is how economic cycles work. And this is where a lot of people come up to me and they complain. They say, Zach, the buyers want discounts, but the sellers don't. So here's the worst time for wholesaling, okay? And so we know that usually prices might be trending down. And when prices are trending down, buyers are smart. They don't have $300K in the bank to buy properties because they're stupid, all right? They actually got some funds. They're pretty smart. Sellers, they're usually not real estate smart. Nothing bad about it, like they're not real estate smart. And so that being said, so if something happens quickly, buyers will adjust very quick and sellers are very slow to adjust. And that seems like something that's bad, right? Oh no, that's super sad. That's actually, turn that frown upside down. That's actually a very good thing for us. And I'm going to show you exactly how you make a ton of money with sellers being slow to adjust. Now, currently where we're at right now in this economy, okay? What I see is since prices are going down, not crazy, but maybe 5% this year, still that's something, your buyers are going to expect a 10% cut of your usual prices from last year, most likely. That's what they're expecting. That's not good, right? Because, oh, what in the world did I just press? I don't know what I just pressed. All right. Here's the issue. And this is the problem we have. Your sellers, like I said before, they are very slow to adapt, right? I already said they're slow. So they're expecting a 0% cut. Like, what do you mean you're cutting it? Real estate's still up. My realtor said it's worth a bunch of money. Everything's great. This literally happened 2008, 2009, 2010. People still thought, because there's articles, that real estate was worth $1 million and everything's going crazy. Austin, Boise, the big overpriced markets are already getting cut hard. Sellers haven't really noticed it yet because they could care less. They are in la la land. Everything's great. But guess what starts happening? When jobs get cut, when the media starts talking about how real estate's actually going down, when their friends start selling low because they actually have to sell and they realize that their actual free market's not making sure everything's worth $1 billion and everything starts shifting towards a buyer's market, guess what happens? Usually after about 6 months, sometimes even a year, 12 months, the seller starts actually slowly realizing it. Takes them a slow amount of time because I said they're slow to adjust. But once they do that, now they're back into fear. OMG. I need to sell. And now they're okay taking that 10% cut, right? Guess what happens? They're in this mode now for like 2 years. And guess what that means for you in wholesaling? So currently, we are in this mode right now. I hate to say it, but it's true. We are in this mode where buyers already want their cut. They already know what's going on, and they know the future. And the sellers are still in their la-la land. Now, I would probably say that the actual motivated sellers, they're fine. That's about a quarter of your motivated sellers actually have already realized it because technology is pretty smart. But unfortunately, 75% of your sellers are going to be in la-la land. La, 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 real estate's still worth $1 million, blah, 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 my house is worth $1 billion. It is going to take them 6 to 12 months to adjust. So unfortunately, we could still go after the really motivated sellers, the really, really motivated lists, but it's going to take out some time for the la, crazy sellers to start realizing what's going on. Same thing with realtors too. They're in la land also. But here's actually how we make a ton of money. And then La La Land's actually a place you actually make a ton of money because once real estate, I think by next year or the year after, interest rates might not be as crazy and real estate will start inching up. Because what did I tell you? Over the long term, real estate's always going to be going up. Always up. Always during the long term. It might have this period where it looks like it's going up and then crashes down, but then it goes up and down, then up and then. But you see the trend line. It's always going to be going up, okay? Don't bet against the United States, all right? Oh, but the population, yeah, the birth rate's not the best in the United States, but we have so many amazing immigrants. We are a country of immigrants. Trust me, it'll keep going up. Now, that being said, maybe about 18 months, real estate starts trending up. So what did I say about buyers? They're smart. They will start increasing prices by 5 to 10% because then they start playing that leverage game, right? They're smart. They're actually going to start paying more. They will pay more. That because now they see real estate's trending up. They're smart, right? Guess what? Your sellers are still, they're okay with that 10% cut. And they're still, oh my gosh, I'm panicking. OMG, real estate's bad. I just gotta, sell low, right? Because they're still in panic mode. You know why? What did I say before? They are slow to adjust. Media is still sad. Everything's bad. All that, everything's bad. Friends are still freaking out over it, right? It's just, oh my gosh, it's bad, 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 bad. We know it's the writing's on the wall. It's going to start creeping up, but the seller's still like this. So this means that you can lock up contracts from 100% of the sellers pretty much. And I'll say 75% and 25% already. So you're getting really low contracts and you're selling them for high prices. This is when you really make this is when the moolah starts coming in. This is when wholesaling is the easiest. You know why? Because during this period, so let's talk about the last time this cycle happened, all right? So we have 2008 to really, I would say 2018, all right? This is when, let's say real estate hit its bottom, let's say 2011. This is really when it hit its bottom and prices started shooting up, all right? So this is the time I actually got into wholesaling. So this is the really cool part. And so all your sellers, so all your buyers knew it was going back up because interest rates started going down. And so buyers were starting to buy more, and then sellers wanted to sell for low. And this is a 7-year amazing cycle for wholesaling, right? Here's the cool part. I got started in 2017. I knew how easy it was. It was stupid easy because all of the wholesalers left. All the wholesalers left during this period. And they all started coming back in after 2018. But all the wholesalers left. And remember, when real estate goes down, a lot of wholesalers leave because they don't know how to do it the right way. And so there's no wholesalers. Buyers are overbuying. Sellers want to sell for cheap. It's the best period ever. And so in a 10-year cycle, let's look at 2008. There was, I would say, about 2 years of weirdness where it was okay to wholesale. It wasn't a most amazing thing. And then you basically had 8 years of awesome. And so I would always trade the 8 years of awesome for the 2 years of weird, right? And here's the thing. When Rick did this in 2008, I want everyone to understand he made actually more money during those 2 years than he did in the 8 years because he actually knew what to do. He knew the strategies to do, right? And the cool part is a lot of people think, oh, real estate's going to, so many wholesalers don't want to do and they leave. And so it's less saturated. So it's even easier. And so what I want you to know is that's the best cycle for people that aren't really good. Now, if you are a savvy wholesaler, you actually know what you're doing, you will make more during the crash than you actually will during when it goes up. I've been making more money lately because with the crash for a good wholesaler, and I want everyone to understand this, there are so much more deals. And with me, because I have a lot of cash on hand, I can crush other wholesalers. And so I'm actually doing more deals and making slightly less per deal. And so it's amazing for me. And I got all the buyers already set up because I have the trust. Unfortunately, when real estate goes up, I do less deals. You know why? My cash doesn't matter anymore because everyone's offering more. That's not the case anymore for me. And then on top of that, honestly, I can flip houses more, so that's, I guess, a positive. But I make more money just doing more deals in general. And so actually during this 18-month cycle that we're going through, I'm actually going to make more money than I am my previous. I'll probably make more money this year than I did my last 2 to 3 years because my competition's leaving. I'm doing more deals national and everything. It's insane. I'm looking to do 1,000 wholesaling deals this year. I've done 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals past 6 years. And so this is just showing you guys that you can make money in every market. Every market you can make money. The thing is, if you know what you're doing, you can actually make more money when real estate's going down in a recession because there's more deals to be done. And you can spend less in marketing and get more deals done.